Happy Spookies, everybody! Halloween is right around the corner, and to celebrate, I figured to cover horror movies for the month. But considering that my first two videos on this channel are horror, with one being the most recent entry in a popular franchise, and the other being a heavy hitter of the genre, so I just decided to cover horror movies in the last 2 weeks to avoid being repetitive. Wouldn't want to brand this as a horror channel, you know? And with that being said, I was supposed to cover the recent released Good Boy in theaters, the horror movie starring a dog, but then I got sick and fell behind schedule, and when the time has come, it was already being pulled out in the cinemas to make way for Tron Ares, and there's no way I was giving Disney my hard-earned money for mediocre crap, and Morbius can go fuck himself. So now my contingency plan was just to watch any horror movies that was not mainstream, you know? And lo and behold, it's Clown in a Cornfield. Boy, this movie just piqued my interest. I mean, it's a clown in a cornfield, for God's sakes. Actually, it was my own TV that advertised this via Amazon Prime, and I was just desperate to cover something, so here's Clown in a Cornfield. The movie begins with not one, not two, but 6 total production intros. Holy hell, looks like everybody wants to have Clown in a Cornfield in their resume. We then open into an establishing shot of a corn factory in 1991, if you can't tell, where teenagers are doing teenager stuff. We are introduced to the stupid-ass Jack-in-a-Box, this film's cursed item that is used throughout. After a clown jumps, she is then reminded of the human penis, and that turned her on apparently. And yep, 2 minutes in, and it's already fuck o'clock. The girl immediately gets into undressing, but not before this idiot says the most teenager line,
"Hey, come on, I thought we were gonna get high."
Or at least what an adult would think a teenager would say. Things get spooky as the boy notices some big-ass footprints and finds the girl gravely wounded, leaving the boy panicking, but before he can escape, a clown pops out in the cornfield and gives him a proper greeting in his residence. And by proper greeting, I mean impaling him with a rake and lifting him up in the air. Aside from this cool shot, the entire cold open is very boring and has been done to death. It's just 2 horny couple about to have sexy time and then getting murked. You can't get any more generic than that. We then meet our main character, arriving in this town after relocating with a single parent, her dad, and if you're wondering, where's her mother? You can make a wild guess. Come on, I'll wait. Yeah, she's fucking dead. And she then has to deal with the burden of trauma that comes with losing a parent. And before you can say anything, yes, this trope is present in every single horror movie, maybe in every single genre of movies. And if you're wondering what makes this different, absolutely nothing. But the characters are pretty solid that you know what, besides all the flaws, this turned out to be enjoyable. Quinn, the main character, is portrayed by Katie Douglas and her father is portrayed by Aaron Abrams. They actually deliver strong performances in this film.
Have a great day at school. Make new friends.
Not a chance.
Especially Katie Douglas, who is a highlight as the lead, that the obvious faults in this movie doesn't really bother me that much. We then get a jump scare from this Walter Jr. looking ass mofo, who's looking for his breakfast.
Why you gotta be such a bitch? Hey.
He's actually here to walk Quinn to school, recognizing she's new. Rust, which is his name, is viewed as this town's outcast or weirdo. Well, that's one character trope checked out of the list. And as they're walking towards school, Quinn notices that the townsfolk are kinda sus, you know. They didn't pass her vibe check. And then we get the tired and tested sequence of a new girl arriving in a new school, late if you can believe that shit, and in a new environment, yada yada yada. The only thing that's refreshing is when the other students, her classmates, actually stick up for her.
Mr. Byrne, that's unfair to the new girl.
Well, that's the price of being late.
And then they engage in conversation without being antagonistic towards Quinn. So that's nice to see. We learn that these youngsters are actually, wait for it, YouTubers. I mean, at this point, who isn't a YouTuber? Your mom, your grandma, your crack dealer. I mean, everyone is chasing that sweet updudes. And their content involves a clown killer that's not in a cornfield, killing random victims in unexpected places. This reminds me of those pieces of shit godforsaken 3 a.m. scary video genre that paid oh so many mortgages. During lunch with her father, Quinn is approached by the kids, who then ask her to hang out and have drinks, classic underage stuff. At the convenience store, these cool guys show us how cool they really are by successfully pulling an epic prank bro on the store owner. They distract this poor bastard to get the liquor they need. Thank God they at least leave their cash as payment. Just one crime at a time, guys, come on. At their super cool hangout spot, they then again show us how super cool they are by pulling yet another epic prank on Quinn, this time including her in their clown YouTube channel shit. Then after a quiet moment, Quinn and the leader of the friend group, Cole, share a traumatic moment to each other.
My mom died of an overdose over the summer.
My younger sister died last summer, too.
Yay exposition. Cole drops up Quinn at her house, not before swapping spit, but before they go all the way and breaking a Randy Meeks horror rule.
Are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex.
They are interrupted by Quinn's father. Quinn, obviously pissed that she was cock-blocked, cunt-blocked, proceeds to just burst out at her dad for getting in the way of some good vitamin D. Sad in her bedroom, she checks the footage of the prank earlier, where she noticed some very spooky stuff. Ooh. One of the guys, I forgot his name actually. Let's just call him Douglas for now. Douglas, one half of the greatest pranksters ever, obviously is not convinced. And I actually like the context of the sequence here, where in most horror movies where the victim investigates for no reason than just to die. Here, Douglas is intrigued. He thinks that this is a prank bro, and naturally, he wants to get the person whom he believes is pranking him, if that makes sense. Anyways, he fucking dies, yeah. Womp womp. We then are introduced to, what? Is that Kevin Durant? Yeah, I did not expect him to be in this movie. He plays Cole's dad, who is the mayor of these parts. They are preparing for the day's festivities, which was teased earlier in this movie. Quinn and Cole meet up after an awkward moment a night ago. They are then joined with the rest of their friends, which are looking for their other friend, Mr. Prankman. Yep, he's still dead. The event, which goes well as expected, leaves the townsfolk with a bad taste in their mouth. They then proceed to do the most random shit and just arrest the first teenagers they see. Sucks to be a prepubescent in this area. Oh look, some random idiot just ruins months of planning and thousands of tax-paying dollars. Let's put these random kids behind bars. If that isn't justice, I don't know what is. They are then bailed out, I think, by Quinn's dad, who has just the most proudest look in his face. I mean, look at that. That's the face of a man seeing his daughter coming outside of a prison, jail cell. Now time for another kill. Next on the line, this boy, the last of the pranksters. Similar to Douglas, Nick Carter here also thinks it's a prank and only realizing he's about to meet his maker too little too late. And also, this kill reminds me of A Nightmare 4. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but hey, it's cool that they're paying their respects. The next night, just right after in jail, mind you, Quinn decides to sneak out of the house to hang out with Cole to the factory in the beginning of the movie. It all comes circling full circle? Fuck it. But not before encountering Walt Jr. again, and also informing us that these boys have a rough past. Someone's Roblox must have been hacked, no doubt. At the party, where party stuff happens and speeches have been spoken, Quinn takes this opportunity to once again get into Cole's pants, but this time, Cole personally cunt-blocks her, leaving her heartbroken, no doubt. While grabbing a beer, the rest of the friend group tells her that what she experienced is normal. Cole is the resident fuckboy, which doesn't make sense because they didn't even get to the fucking, which all the fuckboys do before leaving their girls in the dust. Then a random woman just stumbles out of the field with an arrow to the back. Forgot that this was a horror movie. Initially, they thought this is a prank by the Super Mario Prank Brothers because they haven't seen them in a while, not knowing that they're in Belize. But eventually, the boy who cried wolf cried super hard that they realized, yep, this is for realsies. Shit gets real, Quinn and her friends are panicking, but Rust shows up to fucking blast one clown in the face. Well, that's it, right? Yeah, I never thought this was a short film with its abrupt ending in holy fucking shit. Yep, there's now a swarm of clowns, a circus of clowns, coming out of this cornfield, which actually surprised me the initial viewing. As more and more circus employee arrives, the group, now joined with Cole, recognize that they're outnumbered and proceeds to retrieve in a shed. They then come up of a plan to get the hell out of Dodge, but not before we learn that the falling out between Cole and Rust are not between unpaid Robux.
No, you know what? You're stupid. Because you threw away everything we had for what?
No.
but with unpaid feelings. Yup, they're gays. And I love this reaction from the girls. And also it was a solid plot point with setups prior.
Cole rejects everybody.
Our main group decides to crawl outside the sewer system, Shawshank style, and Ross stays behind to create a distraction. During this chaos, Quinn's dad finds out that Quinn sneaked out of the house and is now out looking for her and comes across his vandalized office, only to be greeted with one of the clowns injured due to Rust's shotgun blasts. The other clown threatens him to tend to his wounds. Quinn and the group then encounter the sheriff, and boy, it goes well as expected. He immediately arrests Cole for crime against humanity, being a teenager. Well, it didn't work out the first time, and I'm sure as hell no, it won't work the second time. Now only a trio consisting of Quinn, Blondie and Curly are left to formulate another plan, but not before being tracked down by the clown. And also, side note, the clowns in this film are called Friendo.
That's a lot of friendos!
Dumb name, but hey, it's a name. Friendo proceeds to Texas Chainsaw Massacre Curly, leaving only Quinn and Blondie, where they go to this house with a telephone and ask for help. Inside the house, they discover another Friendo, fast asleep, as they get upstairs where they find the telephone. This leads into a quite frankly hilarious joke, as these dumbass kids doesn't know how to operate a rotary telephone, thus putting this mission in vain. The Friendo downstairs, now awake and energized, proceeds to barbecue Blondie, and in turn getting barbecued by Quinn, which leads to a very cringy joke, not gonna lie.
I hate you, Quinn.
Me too.
Not knowing what to do, Quinn goes outside to escape in a truck, but she doesn't know how to drive with a stick shift.
When your dad wants to teach you to drive stick, you fucking say yes!
She gets captured, not killed because she's a main character. Okay. During this time, Dr. Dad here escapes the clown company and tips this guy with the scalpel to the neck, thanking them for their performance. At the final acts where the twist of the movie is revealed, where it's, oh my god, I can't believe it. Yep, it's obviously Kevin Durand as the leader of the clowns and some of the townspeople as his followers, as he monologues about the reason he's doing all this. He doesn't like kids. Yep.
Because every couple of generations,
Gen Z along with their TikToks and YouTubes can go to hell for all he cares. And to prove this, he attempts his son to do an amazing Joy Lobo impression. But this is thwarted as Dr. Dad finally shows up to be part of this action, driving straight to the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and scoring yet another brutal kill. Fuck it, 2 more brutal kills. Man, the Dad's KDA ratio is going up. And it's time for the main event, folks. Quinn versus the sheriff. Yep, this is what the entire movie is all about. She ends the cat and mouse chase by sticking his taser into his mouth.
You got that right.
Rust also shows up to retrieve his missing kiss. And Kevin Durand, who is set up as the main bad guy, just fucks up for no reason. Yep, he vanishes and doesn't return to the movie again. Escaping in a stolen car, Dr. Dad teaches Quinn how to drive a stick shift, and with a movie motivation, it works. Now all she has to do to pass this driving lesson is to score a roadkill, and boy, what is Slatterfest. The film concludes with happy endings all around. The boys will continue to kiss as boys do, and Quinn leaves to find herself or some shit. I don't care. The movie ends with the last appearance with the Friendo jukebox, and with a potential jump scare, but surprisingly, no, and cuts to credits. So that is Clown in a Cornfield. A pretty basic, albeit solid slasher, thanks to its enjoyable cast of characters. Its biggest flaws are that the structure is painstakingly by the numbers, with no attempts of trying to do something interesting. I watched this blind, having no context on what the movie is, with only just the poster, thinking it was a supernatural movie a la Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark or Terrifier, but nope, this is just a slasher. Friendo the Clown is bland and forgettable, probably because they're just some random old people in costumes. Half of the fun of slasher movies is to root for the larger-than-life killer that makes you cheer for every brutal murders, and that the kills in this one are solid at best and lazy at worst. And yeah, that's Clown in a Cornfield, released in 2025 to okay reviews and box office returns. This movie gets a modest 6 out of 10, and with that being said, I think I'll see you guys around.